This is Trevor Benko, CEO of TGB Supplements.
This is Ben Jordan, CEO of TGB Supplements.
And this is Bill Tedesco.
And today we have a special guest, Bill. He's a local NPC competitor, and he's actually going to go over some of his blood work. The video we're going to do is talking about cholesterol levels, how to manage them, some of the supplements that we use to manage them, and also other heart issues. And we're also going to touch on a little bit of the RAD 140 because Bill and myself have both used this product, and we think it's not as mild as what people think. So to get started here, the first thing I'm going to touch on is the blood work that I recently had done. I recently had a blood draw. I was using a testosterone replacement dose of testosterone, about 200 milligrams per milliliter once a week, and I was using the RAD 140 for 4 weeks, 20 milligrams a day pre-workout, and I had my blood done. My cholesterol levels came back at 247 total. My LDL was a little bit high. It was at 204, which is actually pretty substantial. My HDL was what really surprised me. It was only 20. And the cholesterol to HDL was 12.55, which is extremely high. So my doctor immediately wanted to put me on a statin. I told him I'd rather wait for 8 weeks, have another blood draw, try some supplementation, change my diet a little bit, and go from there. Because I really think I think the RAD had an impact on my cholesterol. My diet was pretty clean, other than a lot of red meat, which is pretty normal for me, and normally my cholesterol comes back fine. So when you ran your RAD, Bill, what did you notice with your blood work?
I noticed that my LDLs were low. They were in the 20s. My LDLs were high. I believe they were like 120. And my PSA, which I vividly remember, was a 1.6 on my blood draw 2 months prior. And when I got them drawn, 2 months later, because I was getting blood work about every 8 to 12 weeks, the PSA went up to 6.1.
Wow.
And that was like that jumped out the most to me. So what we did was I stopped that, and then 6 weeks later, because I was worried about my PSA because that was 6.1 was an indication of prostate cancer.
Yeah, right. Usually they want to do a biopsy.
Right, and I wasn't having that.
Yeah.
I was like, let me retest the blood again. And when it came back down into normal. It was like it was still a little elevated. I think it was like 2.6. It was below the 3 range.
Yeah, that's a lot better than 6 something.
And then when I did it again in May or June, my PSA was back down to like 1.4.
So it came back.
It came back all the way.
See, normally I think if it's over 4.5, they want to do a biopsy.
Yeah.
That's usually like the red flag. So your HDLs were low too.
Yes.
And the LDLs were a little high. But yeah, that is because the RAD is supposed to be protective to the prostate from what people say.
Right.
And now you and I, we were using totally different brands. Mine was a capsule. I don't know if we want to say the brands, but we were using totally different companies. RAD 140. Were you using 20 milligrams as well?
Yeah, I believe I was using 20 or 30.
Okay.
I did whatever I probably did a little bit more because I thought.
You were probably going 30 then.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah. Was it a liquid?
Yes, I was using a liquid.
And mine were capsules. So, 2 different companies. And there's another guy that I know had similar results with his cholesterol. Very similar. So I definitely think it's a little bit more harsh on the body than what people think. And with it being so new, I don't think there's enough blood work done, enough studies to really see that. But it's just something we wanted to bring to everybody's attention. And then, I just wonder if the RAD could have, maybe they say it acts on the prostate. How does that work?
It acts on the weight of the prostate, but doesn't give the normal side effects that it typically does.
Like an androgen.
Right.
So I wonder if that could have caused maybe a false high rating, or
wonder if it could cause a sensitivity to those androgen receptors in the prostate.
Maybe. That's a possibility. So if you were taking testosterone, you're saying that maybe it could have caused more sensitivity to the androgens, which that is possible, I guess. But it's still scary. If you come in at 6, that's a very scary thing, because prostate biopsy is no joke. That's no fun.
No, I was like, I wanted to at least get another test.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, give me 6 weeks, because I knew I was doing something.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I thought that was going to be a safe bet.
Yeah.
With, especially with the previous problems I had, I was like, well, I'll give this a try, because they said they were it was, I believe at the time they were trying to get drug approval for it or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if they're trying that, it must be pretty
Right.
safe.
Well, they were saying that it could actually maybe be the next big thing for androgen replacement therapy. You know,
Yeah, that's what I.
without an injection, you know, having a pill.
That's what they claimed, isn't a 90-to-1 ratio?
Yeah, anabolic, the androgenic. Yeah, it's supposed to be really mild, even safe enough that women could use it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so it's pretty surprising. So, I mean, I guess the big thing here is, you know, you got to have blood work done to know what's going on in your body, especially with these new compounds, SARM, stuff like that. You kind of got to monitor it yourself, and you can't always just go off of what the doctor says, because in my case, they just wanted to put me on a statin immediately, which, you know, is pretty much a lifelong thing. So it's you kind of got to do your own thing and get blood work done again, keep your blood work, get copies for yourself. That way you can keep record of what you have. Maybe even write down some notes as to what you were doing at that time. That way you can keep track of what's going on. Because I don't think the doctors nowadays really do that. I mean, I think that they're more about getting you in and getting you out, prescribing medication, more so than just taking care of your health and keeping you healthy, a preventative type treatment.
And even with the clinical thing, like their testosterone levels, they might not be as optimal
Right.
as somebody on a replacement or a younger guy, so there's probably going to be a little trial and error until they
Oh,
get it figured
absolutely.
out.
So, Bill, what kind of supplements did you take? Well, you had some other scares with the heart at one time, right?
Yeah. I went in one time. I was 35 years old. I just wanted to go in there and get everything checked. I got an EKG. It was normal. I said I wanted to do a stress test.
Yeah.
So about a week later, I went into the hospital. Did the stress test. I was in great shape.
Yeah.
Doing cardio every day, all that. I was like, oh man, I'm good.
Yeah.
Blood pressure was good. Everything. About a half hour after I got home from the hospital, the doctor called me and asked me what I was doing, and I said, I'm just sitting here. He says, well, I wanted to make sure I was sitting down. He says, because I had bad news. He said that I was in heart failure. They said they had an ejection fraction of 23, and I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a little bit hard.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, that's like
Anxiety.
Yeah, just the anxiety and
Yeah.
everything. So he asked me some questions, and I had to be truthful because I was like, when he was dealing with the heart, I was like,
Scary stuff.
it's scary stuff.
Yeah.
So he told me to come in. I came in like 2-3 days later. Went over. He did a bunch of tests in the office and had me do blood work and everything. And we was waiting for insurance to. Because he wanted to go in with what is those stents or something.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted to look through my arteries and stuff.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, 35. He's like, you shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But the insurance approved the heart MRI.
Okay.
So got that done, and heart MRI came back at 44. So I wasn't in heart failure,
Yeah.
but I had a low ejection fraction.
Lower than what you.
Right, because
Yeah.
I felt great. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was at the time I was about 240-ish. I was coming down from 255, just trying to get in a little bit better shape.
Yeah.
And I felt fantastic. And when he told me that, it was like kind of just a shock.
Man,
and then they
yeah.
wanted to put me, like waiting for the MRI, they wanted to put me on one of them vests.
Yeah.
Think it'll shock your heart. And I was like,
In case your heart stops.
yeah, I'm thinking to myself,
Oh, man.
like, what the hell? Like, all that. And at 35, it was shocking. Like,
man.
I probably could have dealt at 50, 55, I'd probably be like, okay.
Yeah.
It's,
Even if you didn't feel good at that
right.
time.
Wow.
So, went through all that, and I, after we got the MRI, kind of felt like I wouldn't say I finally felt like I got a second chance.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, but that's kind of like what it felt like. So I got my stuff right. Just got on an HRT dose, 120 milligrams a test. Started taking a boatload of supplements. They put me on lisinopril and Corig. And it took me till, I want to say August of 2015 to get my ejection fraction back up to 54. So I came from a 44 to a 54, which was almost normal.
Yeah, that's a
in
pretty
10
big
months.
jump.
And he was very surprised that it came up that quick.
Yeah.
And I want to attribute it to, like, I was doing 40 minutes of cardio every day, lifting weights really quick, like, keeping my
Yeah.
workouts under 40 minutes.
Short rest period.
Yeah, training everything, just trying to, just keep the heart rate up.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you're everything. What really surprised me about what you did was, like, you put in that cardio.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure came down.
Came down a
Your
lot.
heart rate came down a lot, And I mean, you pretty much made a whole transformation. And you were still, training hard.
Yeah.
Keeping it, making yourself, make sure you look good. But,
Yeah.
you really changed your health.
Oh yeah, it was because I came down from 240 to my lowest. I got down to 198.
Yeah.
And that was a big difference in my physique. And
Yeah.
I mean, there were times where I starved myself to try to get the weight down because I was worried about just being that heavy.
Yeah, that much strain on the body.
Yeah. In the blood pressure medicine, my blood pressure just last time I went to the doctor, which was I believe in July, it was I think 108 over 68,
Yeah,
which he was happy with. He wanted to take me off of lisinopril and the Corig, and I asked him to keep me on it because I
Yeah.
told him I wanted to get back to training heavy and eating more food and trying to put some more weight back on, and he said that was fine. I have another appointment 6 months later, so that would be January, February. I go back, and we're going to do the stress test and stuff again, just to see where everything's
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
But the reason why the stress test came back, they said they couldn't see my heart through my chest muscle.
The mass, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's scary stuff. But you really made a change for the better and
Oh, yeah.
overall for your health, and now you're more aware of what you need to do.
Oh, absolutely. Changed the whole way I think about doing everything physique-wise.
Yeah. What kind of supplements were you using?
It was a boatload of stuff. I did a lot of research. A lot of stuff I got from John Meadows, Dante Trudell. There was a couple other people on the board that I can't remember their names, but I just typed in like ejection fraction, heart health,
Yeah.
Low ejection fraction, stuff like that in Google, and the stuff came up, how to bring it up. And like some of the stuff I was taking was, I'll tell you what I think is the most important stuff,
Yeah.
because there was a lot of stuff like vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin D,
yeah.
stuff like that. But the citrus bergamot, I was taking 500 milligrams twice a day, and that was for my cholesterol, and that brought my cholesterol back up into the 40s.
The HDL. That's
Yeah, the
real
HDLs.
important for that. Yep.
I started taking a probiotic because they told me that overall health starts in the gut. My liver, I don't remember if it was bad, but I was taking NAC because they said it's a good antioxidant.
Yep.
The biocurcumin is I 100% recommend to everybody that does anything. Make sure you get to that. I think it's the BSM 95%.
Yeah.
I was taking that twice a day. ALA, I believe in that. I was taking that 3 times a day just for overall, more for the antioxidant and the blood sugar.
Yep.
I was taking a prostate health. I was telling you about the grapefruit seed extract.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think.
I did some research after you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Some people believe it doesn't help. I believe it does because my hematocrit when I went in was high. It was, I believe. I know it was like 1 or 2 points out of high. So I'm gonna say it was like probably 54 because that's what I
54
remember.
probably. Yeah.
So after we got the blood work, after the first time I got blood work, which like I said, it was 8 weeks, 12 weeks somewhere. We were doing blood work pretty regularly, and it started coming down, and then it started coming down every time we would get blood work, like a point and a half.
Yeah.
And I got it down to 47.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
And still lifting heavy, taking my TRT, and even when I maybe took a little bit more, it's still the hematocrit levels stayed low. Now people say like they take 125, they want to take it for 6-8 weeks, and they'll get nothing out of it. They want to quit taking it. I was taking 250 milligrams, but it took a while.
Yeah, it took a lot of time.
It took a while, and plus I think your blood will recycle itself after 6 to 8 weeks of just being getting off everything and just being normal, even just changing the way you train.
Right.
Well, they say I think it's 120 days for your red blood cells, right?
They
Yeah.
die off.
Yeah. So I mean that's what 4 months.
4 months there.
Just with that alone, and from the research I was doing on that the grapefruit extract, if you're low, it can even bring your hematocrit up.
Yeah.
And if you're high, it'll bring it down. So it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I believe in it. I still take it to this day to keep the hematocrit down.
Yeah.
Reversatol, I believe in that just because they say it helps with anti-aging, just the anti-aging properties in that. I was taking a baby aspirin. I wasn't doing that before. I still take that to this day.
Yeah.
One thing that was really good for blood pressure, which I was very surprised, and the like your pulse, was Carditon by Ayush Herbs. I got that on Amazon.
Yeah, I'll have to check
And
that out.
that's a really good supplement.
Yeah.
I mean, I still take it to this day, and in the morning and night, because that's why I take my blood pressure medication to split too. And I just feel that like I said, my blood pressure was really good. So I just keep taking everything because I want to stay
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
That Vitamin K, I was telling you about that.
Yeah,
That was basically for the plaque in your your arteries. Ubiquinol, I was taking 400 milligrams of that, 200 milligrams twice a day.
that's good stuff.
Yeah, and just some digestive enzymes with each meal, just to help, so you don't get that full feeling.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated thing for all bodybuilders, especially guys that are eating a lot.
Yeah.
To maintain that size, you almost have to have some type of digestive enzymes.
Yeah, and D3, they said it goes very well with vitamin K, so I took both of them.
Yep.
And vitamin E is very good too for the heart. I took it was called Tacozorb. It's like, I guess, a very refined form of vitamin E.
Yeah.
It was a lot more expensive than regular vitamin E too.
Yeah. Probably worth it though.
And D-ribose, I wanted to say about D-ribose.
That's right.
There was studies done on that brought up people that were in heart failure, like I'm talking 20-25%, brought them up 15 points in their injection fraction. That was taking 15 grams a day.
Yeah.
So I did that. I took 15 grams a day, 5 grams 3 times a day. I only take 10 grams a day now.
Yeah.
Morning and nights. Yeah. Just to keep it up. I was like, well, if it works, it works.
Yeah, definitely.
And like I said, everything I went in this year before I competed, I believe it was in January, February, had the ultrasound of my heart, and my ejection fraction was 54 again.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So I think everything was working right, and everything was doing what it was supposed to be doing. It does get kind of expensive. I know it's about $200 a month is what I pay for all because I get them off Amazon, even on that with that Prime, the ship and save.
Yeah.
I get an extra 15% off.
Yeah. I mean, with some of that stuff, it's pricey, but it's worth it.
It's worth it to me. It's worth it. I mean, I probably could cut some of the stuff out because of the lisinopril and stuff. But my philosophy was, if it's working, don't stop.
Especially with your heart,
Right.
A lot of guys that they'll spend money on their supplements or their gear, to get bigger.
Yep.
But they don't want to take the safety stuff.
Right.
The stuff that you actually need to worry about is your heart. I mean, without your heart,
you
have nothing, so it doesn't matter. I think it's definitely worth the money.
One other thing that I wasn't wearing my CPAP.
Yeah, that makes a big
Yeah,
difference.
because that's what I was. But the way, whatever kind of failure I had in my heart, they told me it wasn't from not wearing the CPAP.
Okay.
Because I guess he could tell, he could tell by which ventricle or which
the
chamber of the
thickness. heart.
And he said it wasn't from wearing the CPAP, but definitely to start wearing the CPAP.
Yeah.
I went and got everything, did the CPAP, and haven't quit using it since.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing I did because I wake up refreshed even from 6 hours of sleep.
Me too. That's your CPAP. That's for sleep apnea. I have a BiPAP, so it pushes air in and out, and it makes a huge difference. If you have sleep apnea, which most bodybuilders do, the bigger your neck gets, the more likely you are to have it. If you snore, it's very common thing. I know for myself, I felt like I wasn't getting any rest when I slept, and my hematocrit started jumping up. That's what really made a difference for me. I knew something had to be up because I wasn't taking much other than a replacement testosterone, and I was almost up to 55 at one point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had to actually donate blood, and once I started wearing the BiPAP, it started coming down. My last time I just got checked, I was 50.1, I believe, so I was in range, still a little high. So I think I'm going to check out that grapefruit extract.
I would definitely check that out.
Just to see if it does it for me. But yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm glad thanks for sharing that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you guys. Look, Bill, he did a bunch of cardio. He was in great shape, looked great, and felt great. I mean, he's the best he ever felt, and he had that going on. So just because you look good does not mean that your health's not in check.
Yeah, a lot of guys don't even want to get blood work
Right.
done.
I recommend everybody get blood work at least twice a year, every 6 months. I mean, minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, I was one that didn't do it.
Yep.
I mean, I agree. But ever since that happened, I at least get it done every 6 months.
I hate it, but I do it.
Yep. You just don't like to do it.
Yeah, it's something you got to do. Yeah, it just sucks. A lot of people don't like needles. They don't like that.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say not like needles.
Right.
Just in the vein.
In the vein. It's in the vein.
It's a different feeling.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to go over the stuff that I'm taking to correct my cholesterol. Really, I think it probably just needs some time, diet. I'm cutting out the red meat. I'm only doing like 1 meal per week of red meat. I'm trying to cut back on that, mostly chicken, fish, turkey, lowering the cholesterol levels. And not necessarily dietary cholesterol is not so much the problem. A lot of it's the saturated fats. But the supplements I'm using, I have them here. We just did a video yesterday talking about the new natural anabolic from Antius Labs, Titan. If you want, you can check out that video. By the time this one's up, the video on this will be up as well. But this has a new ingredient in there from green tomato extract. It's called ultra-tomatidine, It's supposed to lower your absorbed cholesterol, the LDL, and it's a natural anabolic. So I'm trying that out. 2 capsules per day. I have the NAC. I believe this is a 600 milligrams. I'm doing that twice a day. Also taking advanced cycle support from Iron Mag Labs. Excuse me, I'm doing that twice a day as well, which also has some NAC. So I think I'm getting about 1,600 milligrams total. 1,600 to 2,200. And my liver enzymes were a little elevated as well on my blood work. Not much. I think it was mainly because of the excess cholesterol. So I figured, anything for the liver is always a good thing. It's a good antioxidant as well. I'm taking the Now Ultra Omega 3D, which is all it is omega 3s with vitamin D. I'm taking 2 to 3 of those a day. Taking RALA. RALA is another form of alpha lipoic acid. It's the R isomer. It's supposed to be a little bit more potent and more powerful. It helps with glucose transport. Also helps with the liver enzymes. Pretty good stuff. You want to go into detail on this? Taking the lipid stable as well. 3 capsules a day from Bill Llewellyn, Molecular Nutrition.
Yeah, the lipid stable, it's kind of like an all-in-one formula. It helps decrease the cholesterol production in the liver and increase the breakdown of LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. It also helps decrease the stickiness of particles in the blood known as the platelets. So it can help reduce blood clots as well. It also has some phytosterols in it. There's a bunch of studies that shows that consuming up to 2 grams of it per day, it can help lower the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, by up to 10%. So that's a fair amount. Let's see what we got here. Then we have the Japanese knotweed, the polygonum extract. That's like a common grade of resveratrol, which Bill kind of touched on earlier. It's like a red wine extract. It has really good anti-aging and antioxidant effects, really good anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer as well, and it helps control the lipids.
Now I'm taking the Now version of that as well. Now this has P-Tero plus it has the polygonum, which is the Japanese knotweed. This is at a 50%, 250 milligrams.
Resveratrol.
Trans-resveratrol. So I'm doing 2 of those a day as well.
We also have some green tea extract. It's 95% polyphenol. It's 45% EGCG. Polyphenols are believed to have a really good antioxidant effect, anti-cancer, bacterial, and antiviral properties. Okay. Then we got the polycosanol. I believe if I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Not sure on the pronunciation.
Yep. Yeah, that. And the garlic powder extract. The garlic, that's a really good compound that helps control the cholesterol as well, and the lipids.
It has the inositol in there too. Now the inositol in this product is the long-acting, I believe. They say that is actually not the one you want for cholesterol. Did you ever take niacin for cholesterol?
I took the Nylor product. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I don't think I have.
I believe it was from. It was. It was made specifically for your HDL, but it had a minor flush.
Okay.
But you're right that you want the flush.
Yeah, that's what they say. You want the one that gives you the flush. Now the one that's in here is the
Yeah, I believe it's the
hexaniconate.
hexaniconate.
Now they say
that up.
Now they say that is actually the long-acting version, and it doesn't give you the flush. So I don't know if it has the benefits of normal inositol.
Yeah, they kind of work like a statin, but not as good.
Yeah, a lot of times you can get a prescription for that. Anything else in there?
Yeah, you got some vitamin E, some pantothenic acid, some selenium. That's pretty much the heavy hitters that's out of it.
Okay, so that pretty much covers that. And then I got the Cholesterol Pro from Now. This is the citrus bergamot extract. This one here, you get 500 milligrams per 2 tablets. And I do 2 tablets per day. It also has the cardio aid, which is the plant sterols, the beta-cysterol. Those are supposed to help prevent the absorption of the cholesterol. I like his product. I think I just need to use a little higher dose. So, like I said, I'm using 4 a day now. I was using 1 to 2, but I wasn't very consistent. And me and Bill were talking earlier, consistency is everything. Whether it's diet, training, supplements, you have to be consistent to really get good results. One of the other products that I don't have here, one that I'm using is it's a cyclodextrin complex version of CoQ10 from Antius Labs. Now, the cyclodextrins, we've talked about them in a couple other videos. They increase the absorption. It's like a pharmaceutical delivery system. It's a 7-ring sugar molecule. It's fat soluble on the outside. I'm sorry, fat soluble on the inside, water soluble on the outside. Helps increase the absorption in the small intestine. I really believe in that product. I've been using it for a couple months. I think it's a little more advanced delivery. But the guy that makes that, Antius Labs, we're big fans of his products. So that's one of the other products. That pretty much covers all the supplements I'm using. I'm going to have another blood draw done in the next probably about 7 to 8 weeks to check my cholesterol again, and we'll give you guys an update. But just kind of wanted to cover all that stuff. That pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for sharing everything, Bill.
Oh, no problem.
It's pretty amazing what he's done as far as his health. I mean, I remember when you had that happen. It was pretty shocking. And to bring it all the way back like that just shows you, what you can do. But you got to be aware of your health. No matter what, if you're taking hardcore supplements, you got to do the other side too. You got to take care of your health with the proper supplementation, blood work, just monitoring everything. But that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys check us out, we got the new Anabolic Cartel podcast coming out soon. Check us out on social media. The Anabolic Cartel forum will be up probably within, well, it's actually up now. You can register, but it's not fully functioning yet. So if you get a chance, check that out. Please subscribe to our YouTube, and we'll have more videos coming soon.